I'm Elizabeth Copeland, pro trader here at Verified Investing. And today we're going to talk about some stocks. We're going to look at a mega cap. We're also going to look at some of the market movers and even the cruise industry, travel industry. And then our last one is in tech, which is one that's been overextended, has turned around. And now we're going to look for support for some downside movement. So let's get right into it, shall we? Let's first start with Apple, our mega cap of the day. And Apple has had a nice push up. This is a trend line from basically April of 2025 lows all the way up here to July, and then kind of chops around here. Not great support or resistance. If you could claim it as support, even though it technically broke through. It did act as support later, broke through, and is now retracing. What I like about this level is this trend line then corresponds with the pivot high. So right around 276 area, this is an interesting play here, especially if you can get there today or tomorrow, because what happens is right here, back from February of 2026, we had some buyers on an up streak. And as we know in the market, some people buy at highs, and that's might be what some people did right here. So out of the, let's see, 32.35 million shares bought and sold that day, quite a few were up here at what would be the high, a pivot before. Let's see that measured move down. It was right there at, it could have been close to 11% out of the money. And with a stock that doesn't move that much, especially if you're a day trader that then holds this to a swing trade, 11% is a lot of money, especially if you put quite a bit of capital toward this. So we can assume that there are some buyers that have been now 11% of the money with this retracing back. This can now push to this where a lot of those buyers want to get out of pain, and a trend line, which typically acts as support. Yes, there is, a little bit of messiness there in January, but historically support would act as resistance. So right here at this trend line and a corresponding pivot top, I really like a reversal from here. If you're a little bit more conservative, there's another pivot top at 280 Pierce. That also corresponds to trend line. Let's say a couple of days from now, it pushes up there. That might be a nice level, but the more immediate trade there, around 275, 276. So a very interesting level there on Apple. It would be hard for me to buy this anywhere up here. I mean, the first buy level, I really like this gap fill down here. I'll zoom in for you. You can see where, price actually fell all the way down to 245, pushed back up, nice reversal to 253, and then went up from there. So this gap fill might be nice for an attraction, especially if a hard sell happens. That's 8% down from where it could potentially turn from this pivot. So this might be a nice support level for you if we don't quite get up to this trend line and don't hit these levels. A nice quick turnaround. And I'm not talking a turnaround that goes like this and then it kind of slows down. I'm talking a turnaround that's more like this, right? And that would be where we get those down. The harder the fall, the harder the rise, and vice versa. So I like Apple a lot in these two areas. There's some tops and bottoms for you. GFS, definitely a market mover over the last several days. Today, a nice push up. And from those pivot lows at the end of March, we're up almost 50%. So huge move up, very well bought. And just the last 3 trading days. So today, Monday, Friday, Thursday, even then a 24% push. Now hitting the psychological level of 60, 61 area. But I actually like it a little bit higher. First of all, again, talking about pivots, I do not mind a pivot. 61.98 for those more aggressive traders, and that would be a more near term. Even above that, though, I really love this gap fill. You know me, I love those gap fills, and that gap fill will be right there around 66. So only 7% higher on a stock that's up 50% over the last couple of months. And then you can even have backup support. And what I really love about this level is you have backup. I love when we have backup, right? Because say that level does flush through, you've got quite a bit of backup up here. So this would be an area that I would be interested in, maybe for a short-term swing trade at 61 level is nice. If it does pierce, that is an 8% rip. So, obviously allocation of portfolio is very important, especially if you're trying to day trade at this level. There is a lot of resistance here. What was resistance here, right around that same level. Again, here, that's twice. So 3 times does favor a pullback, but again, a lot of overhead resistance. I really like this level from 66 to basically 70 on GFS. And then if you look at volume on GFS, typically 3.63 average, 3.93, something probably is going to be a little bit harder for me to day trade. But I like it as a swing trade as well. I mean, you can obviously day trade this if you want. There's just the volume and the price action. It is not as, liquid for most of the part. I mean, these last couple of days have been the exception there. So feel free to, do whatever you want, day trade, swing trade, but I do like these levels a lot for a longer term position. CCL Cruise Lines. We know that these have gotten hit over the last couple of days. We've had the straight open, the straight close, the straight open, straight close. Now markets are trying to price in some of that volatility, right? We've seen a lot of that, even today. We had the markets at the beginning of the day starting to slowly climb higher, even though pre-market on Sunday night when futures opened, it was slightly down. We had it, just a little bit positive there for a while, kind of red intraday and kind of green intraday back and forth, got hit a little bit midday. But anyway, needless to say, for such big news, or what would have been big news a week ago, markets seem to have less volatility or reaction to that news as it comes up now, because we've gotten so much of it, right? So here's CCL. What I like about CCL is they've got some nice trend lines here. Let's go back all the way to, let's say, October of 2022. That looks a good place to start, especially as a pivot. So long-term plays, we can see, and yes, we did break through here. Look at that, once, twice, three, did break through, but came back. I don't mind that, as because time has passed. We've had from 2025 all the way till now, basically a year actually, since we hit this trend line. I do expect it to hold some kind of support for us here, but what I really like here, support level, is if this continued downfall occurs, we've got quite a bit of gap fills on the way down. So for a longer term play, looking for these gap fills around 25, 23, even a trend line for backup support. For a shorter term play though, if the price action keeps falling, and if oil prices go or continue going up, I do like a 27 level. This red bar candle here is a good little indicator of a potential reversal. And then you have some support. Look at this area right here of consolidation previously. That would be some nice areas of potential bounces as well, especially within this range of 26 to 25. And then you have a backup down here at 25. So more aggressive players could get in earlier here, but longer term, looking for that trend line, and then some gap fills a little bit lower at 25 and then 23. On the upside, I do need it to go up quite a bit more because oil prices are still pretty high. And the potential reversal is there. Now, I don't think this gets here in the short term. I think it is going to take a while because of my views on oil, which I think is going to be holding, in a trend basically between 70 and 90 for the next several months. So let's say that happens. That's going to affect obviously what I play in and what affects the oil prices. So oil is a big part of Carnival Cruise Lines price action these last several days, especially here on the 16th of April. When we had those oil prices skyrocket again and then a reversal. But here are some longer term plays, 31 to 32 gap fills. If we do have those oil prices fall significantly, which they could do over the next few months. But look at those levels as they hit. And then of course, backup support here at this gap fill at 33.96. So lots of support, also lots of resistance. We're kind of filling in right between that. A lot of area consolidation actually previously in this area. So we might actually hold in this area for a while as oil prices hold in that area as well. Kind of that 97 to 100 range, 97 to 98. And then a breakout either way. We've got support and resistance there. So for Intel, this is the tech company we're going to talk about today. Intel, what a move. This is incredible. Up 67%. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 trading days. That is an incredible move up. Actually pierced recent all-time highs at 69.36. That was on Friday. And that was a high right there, double top from January of 2020. If we back it up even further in time, back in 2000, I believe it goes. I think we have to go to weekly here. Yeah, back in 2000. And September 5th of 2000, we hit an all-time high of 75. So there is a backup level way up there, but that is very impressive movement from Intel either way, whether it pierced all-time highs or not. 13 days and, this amount up 67%. That's incredible, which is why we're seeing this nice reversal, right? So I would not be the one to, do what you want. I would not be the one to buy right here at this consolidation, even though it might bounce slightly. We still have some more downside to go. So I like this 23% down movement to 52.91. It'd be very hard for me to buy in this area, but I do like the price action on a fall down to 52.91. And if we, again, if we got it back up here to 75.81, I would definitely look to take a short, probably a pierce of that, as double tops typically pierce. But that would be a nice area for reversal on Intel. So there are a couple, at least 4 different stocks for you with support and resistance levels. Those are more long-term and short-term. So hopefully you got a little bit of both there. Let me know in the comments below what you prefer. I love to hear from you guys, and if you have any trades on any of these stocks. So I can't wait to hear from you guys next time. But for now, that is it for me. Have a